Alright, you guys, welcome back to another deck video. Today we're going to be going over Retreat Amp, or Retreat Amplifier, or however you want to say it. The whole point of this deck is there's a lot of cards that actually deal more damage for every retreat cost in your opponent's Pokemon, and there are a lot of things that do increase your opponent's retreat, and there's a lot of cool things to do sniping attacks, effects like that. There are a lot of cool sort of retreat mechanics. There's a lot that we didn't include in this deck because there are quite a bit of them. One of the coolest ones in Standard, for instance, is Gudra AOR that does 20 for every retreat in your opponent's retreat cost snipe. And the reason we didn't include that is because there was some other stuff that we wanted to include and we felt it would be too clunky, but it is something to look into. There are a lot of options for this deck. But this is the list that we're going to go with. It's not that bad of a list, to be honest, and it can win some games, surprisingly. Yeah, we'll see why in a minute. So, we're going to go over some of the main attackers first. The first one's Fortress. Now, mostly you see this card in spread decks. We always have a 1/1 line, Thorn Tempest to put 10 on everything on your opponent's side of the field. But its attack does 20 plus 20 for every retreat in the retreat cost. So, you kind of get both benefits of it, of the 10 spread everywhere, plus the 20 attacking. Actually, it's really kind of cool. We don't play Devo Spray to reuse Thorn Tempest because that's not really the point. The 10 is just kind of an added benefit. We do play a 1/1 Ferrothorn line too. This has a cool attack, Spike Leash. This attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon for each retreat in their retreat cost. So a lot of good ways to spread there. That same attack is actually also on this Bronzong. Heavy, what is it? Heavy, oh, I can't read that upside down. Whoop. Heavy Potential. Put a number of damage counters to each of your opponent's Pokemon equal to the number of retreat in that Pokemon's retreat cost. So we do play that. And if you'll notice, that's a 3, that's a 3. This is a metal Pokemon. It's not a metal attack, but that does take 3 energies. This takes 3 energies. So we need some form of acceleration. So why not play another Bronzong line? We're going to play the Metal Links to help with the acceleration aspect of this deck. And since we are playing a 2/2 line, we will go ahead and play the Bronzong Break to kind of spread. So we have this 10 spread everywhere for every retreat cost. This 10 spread for everywhere that has the retreat cost. Acceleration, 20 plus 20, just a big heavy hitter. And then spread damage in the form of Metal Rain. So you're going to kind of just take big knockouts, you know, instead of spreading and moving like Dusknoir, you're going to be putting like 40 on their side, and 50 on their side, and 40 there, and then you're going to finish all the stuff off with Metal Rain and that sort of thing. So, ways to add retreat cost, we're going to be looking at 3 1/1 lines. 1/1 Muck adds a retreat cost to everything that isn't Team Aqua's. 1/1 Ariados adds a 1 retreat cost to everything that isn't called Ariados. And then Frillish adds 1 retreat to everything in play. So those 3 ways, if you got all 3 of them on the bench, yeah, you're going to have some kind of clumping issues on your bench. Bench space is an issue with this deck, but late game when all of your stuff is dying, this is a way to just swing big time. Support Pokemon, it will be the 1/1 Claydol, the 1/1 the 2/2 Porygon line, the standard Uxie, Dunsparce, Lapras, and Spiritomb. Nothing too surprising in this deck. You could play Porygon Z as well. Reasons for that, because you would include Devo Spray and Hyper Devo Spray, so you could reuse Thorn Tempest, turn it into much more of a spread-based deck, and then to get that extra damage because you are spraying to everything. The reason that you don't necessarily do that is because you're generally, when you evolve, your retreat gets higher. In U150, there's all the common decks, your retreat does increase. There are certain things that don't increase it. In what way? Another thing to note, another reason to play Bronzong Break is because there are Pokemon that have 0 retreat cost, and you can't add, and this does add 1 to those, but Bronzong Break is just kind of a way to deal with the free retreaters. So there you have it. That's all of the Pokemon in the deck. Nothing too crazy. You're going to kind of spread damage everywhere, and then finish them off with Bronzong Break or Fortress. Moving on to supporters. Shouldn't be anything too surprising here. You're going to see a Bebe Search, a Pokemon Collector, Wally, Karina, Rosie's for your searching options. All standard stuff there. Draw supporters, we're going to see Copycat, Sycamore, and Juniper, as well as N and Rocket's Admin. Chorus, Oak's New Theory, and then Sage's Training, all your draw supporters there. Your search for 2 cards are going to have Teammates and Mallow. Don't need an Oracle, don't need a Twins, because you will. I mean, you could play Twins because you're doing a lot of spread, so you will take 1 or 2 prizes early. But we just didn't include it here for whatever reason that is. Switching cards, we got Guzma, Lysander and AZ. Now you also could think about a Brimey's Compassion here, because you kind of want both, because all of your stuff is really, really fat in terms of retreat cost. Like if they Lysander up your Lapras, for instance, and you have these retreat amplifiers, your Lapras has like a retreat of 4 or 5 now, so you gotta have an extra way to retreat it. We didn't play too many of those. And then extras, we got Hex, Iris, Lysander Storm card, and Riley's Request. Nothing too special on any of those. Like I said, all kind of standard stuff. The only thing you could consider is probably another Brimey's, or even like a Acerola, or some extra way to get out of the active. Even Olympia, to be honest with you, even Olympia wouldn't be the worst. Moving on to items here, we're going to see for search, computer search, Evo Soda, Heavy Ball, because most of your stuff is actually heavy in terms of the retreat cost. Let's see what all is 3 retreat. The Jellicent's got 3 retreat, the Muck's got 3 retreat, the Grimer's got 3 retreat even. Bronzong there, Fortress is 3 retreat, Ferrothorn, Ferroseed, and none of your supports. So that's quite a bit of Pokemon that all have 3 retreat. Kind of a good reason to play Heavy Ball, search out some of your stuff. Luxury Ball, Ultra Ball, P-Com, and Level Ball, as well as Swoop Teleporter for your search. Draw, you have Misty's Wrath, Presser Oak, and Bill, and Secret Mission. You have Secret Mission in the deck because of getting Metal Energies in the discard pile so you can Metal Links them. Plus, your bench space does get kind of clumped, so if you have extra basic Pokemon in your hand, you can get rid of the clumping there. For recovery, we have Item Finder and Junk Arm, as well as Super Rod, Palpad, Retriever, and Versa Seeker. And then over here, we are playing the extra stuff, playing Battle Compressor, get Metal Energies in the discard for Metal Rain, Scoop Up, Escape Rope, and Posture Oaks Invention. Now, like I said, you could play an extra, like a Warp Point, or a Switch, or just kind of extra ways to get out of the active in case you get Lysander stalled. But the one thing I will point out here is we play both Windstorm and Field Blower, because one of the biggest counters to this deck is Floatstone. Floatstone will always make the retreat cost 0, meaning that you can't do any damage to them. So you need to get rid of that Floatstone and that Fluffy Berry if you want to actually deal damage to stuff. So we play both. You honestly could play, this deck honestly could play as a Rosic as well. It's just kind of a supporter way of getting rid of tool cards. So stuff like Marlies, stuff like Zerosic, stuff like Switch, all things that could be added into this deck if you don't like a certain card or one way. Those would be like the first 3 cards I would add. Stadiums, we do have Broken Time Space. You're playing Evolutions, no reason not to. Like I said, bench space does become an issue, so Skyfield here. Just be careful though, because if you Skyfield there, they can play extra Pokemon on their bench and then bounce them. So since this is kind of focused on spread, just be wary of Skyfield and then benching new stuff and then bouncing the Skyfield. And then Team Aqua Secret Base is a way to add a retreat cost, adds 1 retreat cost to everything. Extra 10 damage or 20 damage in the form of supporter. Or in the form of steamer, sorry. We are playing Muscle Band and Choice Band, ways to add damage. Floatstone and Fluffy Berry, because like I said, getting things out of the active for yourself is kind of hard, so might as well play both of them. As well as EXP Share, because most of your attackers are kind of have a hefty attack cost, so EXP Share does alleviate that. Bronzong can't do it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Be careful when you Goop and Hex, because it will shut off your own retreat amp attacks, so you probably want to Goop and that sort of thing when you're using a different attack or when you're doing something else. Just be really careful because it will shut off all of your bench Pokemon. And then for special energies, we are going to play Double Rainbow, Upper, DCE, and Scramble. All your attacks are for DCE and they use extra energies. You play Scramble energy for the ones that use 3, and then let me just Scramble plus 3. Yep. So this can be used with Bronze on Break to rain 3 energies down, so it has a plus 90 on Bronze on Break. And then we're going to look at 3, 6, 9 metals and 3 psychics. There are some attacks that use psychics, so we do want at least 1 psychic there to attach from hand. Let me give you some examples here. This Bronzong does attack, and I will go over that attack actually, I forgot to because it is a psychic. And then this Bronzong here. And then if you ever need a Pester, that's really never going to come into play, but you can if you want. See, put a number of damage counters on the defending Pokemon for the equal to the number of retreat in Bronzor's retreat cost. So increasing your own retreat cost with all of these adding effects here is going to make Gyro Swap do some damage because it's for 1 psychic energy. And then, like I said, heavy potential. It's going to rain it down on them. So there you have it. That's Retreat Amp pretty good deck. It's actually not that bad of a deck. You could consider playing like a 1-1 Dusknoir line if you think that spread's going to be worth it. You could throw like some blends in here and play the Spiritomb's Theme Siege. It's really easy to charge up. You could, in that situation, Prism, Blend, not Prism, you'd probably Rainbow. Rainbow and Blend would be the two you'd want to play. Yeah, that does it for Retreat Amp. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not,